Hello and welcome back to episode 9 of the Championship Manager 1997-1998 Lockdown Challenge here on Championship Manager 97-98 on DOSBox, the old retro system. If you're new to the channel, please do drop a sub while you're here. It'd be absolutely fantastic. If you're enjoying the content, enjoying this series, enjoying the save, and just love Championship Manager 97-1998, you know, drop a like on the video as well, all that good stuff. But without further ado, I want to move swiftly on because there's actually quite a lot to talk about in this episode, and I want to whiz through it and not have too much of a long video. So, at the end of the last video, or somewhere towards the end of the last episode, we had the Chelsea job. We mentioned the Chelsea job being available, and we'd gone for it. Unfortunately, it didn't quite come to fruition in that episode where we saw the outcome, but it has happened in the sort of time since, and they actually hired Kevin Keegan. Now, where did they hire Kevin Keegan from, you may ask? Well, it was actually Lyon in France. No idea he was there. He'd rocked up there, but he had. So we went for the Lyon job, and it sort of transpired. We actually got offered the Lyon job. They were currently sat third in the French top division, so it would have offered us that opportunity, but I did decide to turn it down. The Fulham save actually took a bit of a twist, wherein we were actually going quite well. We're on a bit of a good run, and it looked like, you know, a good promotion run is on the cards. The team's starting to take shape, starting to tick over, starting to gel, the new transfers, that sort of stuff. But also the Lyon, the money wasn't great. They didn't have a lot, and obviously we still need to do an England international, an England World Cup player from 1998, and plus their squad had 30 players already, so I'd have to release some players as well to make some space. And when I looked at it as well, the squad looked to be overperforming. They were third, but it was only after 4 games, and subsequently they have dropped away as well. So yeah, I'm thinking if I got offered the Lyon job and they were, you know, top French division, I've got a chance of getting, you know, maybe an equivalent either in Spain, another one in France, or maybe even England. Even if it's a less good team, that might be a better opportunity, a better job option. So, you know, we do decide to, you know, leave it there. There is another job discussion that comes later in the catch up, but we'll get to that shortly. In terms of results, they've gone pretty well. We've had a decent season. There are some signings as well and some sales which I need to mention. Mike Taylor did leave for Southend for 400k as we expected, and unfortunately we did lose Egor Titov to Valencia. They triggered his big club release clause and off he goes. That was a bit gutting because we're struggling now to get someone really who can replace him. He's not really hit the ground running at Valencia. But we've made a couple of signings. Obviously, we know Sten Sarsgaard came in, and he's done pretty well since he came in. 13 games now, 7.23 average. We also signed Noah Hickey. He gives us a bit of a option on the bench. He can sort of play 2 or 3 positions that we need him to play. He can play right back, centre back, or centre midfield, and he'll just take up 1 sub space. So that's him in now. He's doesn't look great, but he's a decent player. If you're on a budget in lower division, you can get him for 5k from a minor team. It doesn't say that. I'm pretty sure I bought him from a minor team or something. But yeah, 5k and he comes. And then we also signed Zlatko Hovich. Now I remember this guy. I think it's from one of the latest Championship Managers, maybe Championship Manager 3 or maybe even 0102. But he was in. No, it must have been an earlier one because I remember him being really good in qualifiers for Euro 2000, and Slovenia got there, I think, for one of them, and he was like the main player. I thought he was Slovakian, not Slovenian, but. Anyway, and I remember him being in all the dream teams, doing the dream team, getting him in. I don't think he did much in. I think he actually got a red card, but fantastic player for Porto. But we bought him in 150k, and he's there really to replace Titov, who's gone out. We have got Twist coming back, so I'm not too concerned about buying anyone else in that position. And obviously, Mol Ryan we had sitting on the bench, and he's now sort of come into a more prominent position in the team. But we are still looking at a few options that we want to buy, and obviously we still need to get that England player sorted. But the Manchester United B team is taking shape quite nicely. Now we then had the second leg of, so I think that's where we started. Was that where we started? No, it was actually the first West Brom game. So we beat West Brom 2-1 in the first leg at home. We were pretty decent and a bit unfortunate to actually concede the goal, actually, the away goal. But we take a 2-1, lead into them. Fabian Hohing's actually having a decent season. He's had to cover a bit for Brevitt and for Makanesby. Both had suspensions. And he's done okay. So, yeah, he's not a long-term option, but, he is an option. But Tomlinson and Titov getting the goals. TNT, in fact TNT getting all the goals there, but as an 88th minute goal they didn't really deserve it. We then went to Port Vale, a bit disappointed with this one, really again conceding. We got the 3-1 win. I actually thought this was a draw, but yeah, Heinstrom getting an early goal, but they did equalise through Griffiths before Neverland and Bakero sort of rounded the game off. 3-1 win, again deserved and a bit harsh to concede that goal. It's just at this stage we were still sort of leaking goals that we shouldn't have been leaking, but you know, we're winning games. We followed that up with a 4-0 win against Bury. 2 goals to Centurion in this one, Neverland getting off the score sheet and Tomlinson as well. We probably should have had more in this. It could have even been 10, I think, in this one. The way the game went, they just weren't going in. A lot of saves, a lot of rebounds, bit of a goalkeeping masterclass. In fact, I bet he got a good rating. Yeah, he got a 9. Look, he got a 9. If you lose 4-0 and get a 9, he's actually quite good. I was about to say, is he the one from Celtic? He is, isn't he? So he's doing well for Bury. Obviously, unfortunately, no longer, I don't think, a club anymore. Did they go into financial meltdown and sort of fall out of the leagues? I'm not too sure. And get closed down? I'm not sure. I know it was happening, but I don't know if they got saved in the end. We then had West Brom again, this time in the league. Bakero, Centurion and Neverland getting the goals. Some sloppy defending again did let Bob Taylor in to score again against us. Not too damaging. It was the same minute as Neverland. It was 3-0 and then they got one back and then nothing else happened for the rest of the game. But do you know what? I'll take that. So with the job, what happened then was around this sort of time, the Atletico Bilbao manager took the Leon job. I don't know who the manager was. We went for Bilbao. And I thought this could actually be a good one. They were a good team in Spain. They've got Bierhoff up front. They had some good players in their team. They haven't sold a lot of their best players. They had Lizarazu, I think, still maybe. Or unless he'd already gone to Bayern, I'm not too sure in real life for that, I mean. But I'm pretty sure he's at Bilbao. And it just looked a good team. They had some decent money to back them up. We went for it. Unfortunately, the Wolves manager got it. The Wolves manager in the same division as us, below us in the league. So he got that job. And Wolves obviously wasn't a job worth our while taking because it doesn't improve anything. And obviously, in my previous save before I disappeared on the 95-96 game, Wolves was my save. So I didn't really want to go back to Wolves. But we then had the cup game again, and it was against West Brom, obviously. They beat us 2-1 this time. Centurion getting our goal, Bob Taylor getting this, but Ho Hing did get sent off very early, if I remember, 41 before half time. But we did manage to do him on the shootout. It went all the way through. We were going first. It went all the way through until Bakero missed the 6th one. I was like, oh, here we go. We're out on the first. The first one after the 5, and I've completely gone out of my brain what that's sudden death. There we go. It's completely gone out of my brain what that was called, but we missed it. But they missed theirs, and then we both scored again, and then Tomlinson scored, and Bennett missed, and it put us through. And obviously getting the cup. In fact, I'm going to pop it up very briefly right now. The objectives, just for this second. As you can see, getting to a cup is sort of one of the challenges. So League Cup and FA Cup, unless we move job, is a vital one to try and tick off something. And we do actually start our first game in the cup today, and it's a Premier League team, so it's going to be a good challenge. We then had Northampton in the league, which was a 3-1 away win. Heinstrom, Tomlinson and Neverland grabbing the goals. It was about this sort of time that Hickey and Hovich came into the team. They didn't come straight into the starting 11. I gave them a little bit of time just to get some training sessions in. Let's be honest, there was no training in the game, but it was something I wanted to do, just not chuck them straight in. So we did that. We got the 3-1 win. Things were going quite well as well, so we didn't really need to, chuck everyone in straight into the deep end. We then got a 2-1 win against Stockport. Noah Hickey was on the bench for this one. He came on. I think it was an injury or just maybe a sub because Sigurdsson wasn't playing great. But dominated again. Unlucky to concede the goal. But it was an equaliser, but we did take the lead not long after. So Neverland and Tomlinson doing the job for us. And yeah, job's a good one really. And it's a good little run. We're still on. 4-1 win, Reading. So Neverland getting man of the match. So Hovich is in the team at this point. He's scoring 8s. He's got a couple of assists, got a goal already. So he's doing okay. Mike Conroy actually came off the bench as well. He just come back from his injury. We whacked him on the bench. I think the Mika was injured, and Richie, is it Richie we've got or Martin? Whichever one it is we've got. I'm not convinced completely just yet. So yeah, we popped him on the bench. He got 2 goals. did what we needed. Ben Smith getting a 4 there. Didn't notice that. I assume he's a regen. He's not a regen, but he's not very good either. We then had, I think we were second or first and they were third, so a big top of the table clash, obviously against a team that's just been relegated, and they've got Jason Cook and he's banging the goals in up front for Everton this season. Obviously that player we looked at, wasn't he? But 0-0, very little happened in this game. We dominated the first half, but we just couldn't score. It was an even second half, but neither team could score. Both goalkeepers only getting a 7 really, so, but I mean, we didn't get a lot of shots on target, but it felt like, I mean, nor did they really, but it just felt like there was a lot of chances, certainly for us in the first half, a lot of possession, a lot of highlights, if you like, we want to call them highlights, going our way. We then had Wolves, 2-0 win, Centurion. Netherland did get sent off late on, but it wasn't enough to stop the result happening. And they, obviously, we knew Wolves lost their manager. It was literally the first game, this is when it happened, and they'd appointed Bobby Robson from Valladolid in the Spanish second division, so obviously we didn't bother going for that job either. And I think this is the last game. Oh no, we've got 2 more games just to quickly talk about. A 3-1 win against Portsmouth. John Aloisi would later go on to play for Coventry and someone else. I remember him being at Cremonese on one of the older Italian games. Not very good. Doesn't seem much better here, but you know, doesn't stop him scoring against us. But Eric Nevland and Mike Conroy again off the bench, doing the job for us in this one. And then finally we came to Wigan, away to Wigan. Obviously they were second behind us in the league, or they come up with us anyway. Pat McGibbon, they came up with us, and Graham Jones got their goal. He was obviously top scorer last season, not finding it quite so easy this season, but Nevland, Mulrine, so Hovich getting his first goal, and Heidenstrom with the goals. And then at this point, obviously because we'd lost Titov, it just sprung to my mind, do you know what, I think some of those players have got big club release clauses. Just because we've got promoted, I don't think it changes it. So if a Premier League club comes in, we're going to lose them. So we gave Tomlinson, Twiss, I can't remember who else. There was about 4 or 5 that had them sitting on there still. So we went round and just gave them all sort of updated. None of the new ones we signed this season had the problem. Who was it? I think, I can't remember. Betterton had one. Loron may have had one. Laketti maybe, I can't remember. And then yeah, Twiss, Tomlinson, there was someone else I think, but I can't remember. There was a few, but we sorted that out, so that's all taken care of now. So what we're going to do now, we're going to jump into the game. We've got Blackburn, who are in the Premier League, obviously. They've got Damien Duff as a key player. I've never seen him do much on this game, but he's playing quite well for them this year. He's developed quite nicely. Whoever this guy is a key player, and they've obviously got Victor Leonenko. Not too sure about 97-98. He was never a player I've particularly gone for on this one, but on the previous editions, he is an absolute baller. They don't have Shevchenko. I think Rebrov is on the older ones, but they're not very good. But Leonenko is absolute mustard on it, and you know, if you play the older versions of these games, the 2 before, make sure he's your signing, because he is naughty, and he's quite cheap as well, really. Plus you've got that money cheat if you really want to do it. So we're going to bring Tomlinson in there. What else do we need to do? I think we're good. Still trying to sell Coleman. He is wanted, but we've ramped his fee up, but no one's biting yet. They all wanted him when he was cheap, but no one wants him now. Hopefully if we can get a good scalp here against Blackburn, not expecting too much, but obviously we need to try and do what we can in the cup. They've got Heskey as well, but we need to try and get a little bit further. I can't remember exactly where we need to get to. I think it's a quarter-final, but League Cup is probably the best chance of that, because as Mulrine gives us the lead, playing well, it gives us the best chance of that, because I think it gets to the quarters a bit quicker than the FA Cup. The FA Cup has a few more rounds to play through, I think. I might be wrong, but if we can just, plus you don't get favourable cups in the FA Cup in this game very often. Quite often the non-league and the lower league teams do just get whittled out quite early on. Centurion makes it 2-0. If we can get through this third round, we're very close to practically chipping away as Heskey gets one back just 2 minutes after we'd scored, just to put the pressure on. It's been disallowed. Get in. Do I love to see that screen when we let a goal in. You don't always expect it. Sometimes it takes a bit longer than normal, but it pops through then and we get the offside, and we're still 2-0 on the hour mark. We might look at bringing maybe Conroy on just for Nevland, because he has been a bit lethal off the bench lately, just to try and Tim Flowers in goal. Someone I've looked at trying to sign as well. England World Cup player, obviously. squad player is David Seaman was number 1, I think, wasn't he? I say I think, I know he was, because an Arsenal fan, I know how good Seaman was in the 90s. Even into the noughties, early noughties, he was... Right, we're going to make our changes. Let's stop talking about David Seaman. We can't sign David Seaman. He ain't going to come to Fulham. Not yet. I think Lee Dixon was an option at right back, but he wasn't in the squad, so I didn't bother. And he was a bit older as well. Who do we bring? Who do we take off here? We're going to take off Hovich. He's not really done it in this game. And I think we'll bring Hickey on as well for Laketti, just because he's a bit tired. I don't really want to put him at centre back if I can help it against a Premier League team. I don't think he's quite there. He's a bit like a Paul Warhurst, can just play in multiple positions, or a Nicholas Alexanderson, multiple positions. So he's just worth having on the bench, but not particularly amazing at any of them. Not yet. He's still quite young. He's another one that if you sign him at a lower league club, he'll have a big club release clause, and he's probably gone within a couple of months for a little bit of money. So if you're doing that, just worth doing for that regard, really. But where are we going to come back to next game? We have got Sheffield United and Man City. That's the two we're aiming to play today. So we'll be back in about 3 days for that Sheffield United game. See you in a moment. Okay, here we are. We're back for the game. Something I forgot to mention, it was in between. It's because it just happened. It just rejected. We had a bid in for Rob Lee. Obviously, he's a World Cup player. He's now available. Doesn't want to come. I don't think he's even playing for Newcastle. So it's a bit disappointing that we still can't quite lure them in. But we did have the cup draw as well. We've got Man City in the League Cup 4th round. So the next game after this will be a good barometer for where we are against them. I don't know what they're doing in this league. How are they doing? Middling. I did try and sign Kincladze in the start of the season as well. I think at one point wasn't interested. So yeah, not great. Our reputation still isn't quite very high. We've got a bit of a problem today. We've got Netherlands suspended, so Conroy's going to come in with Martin on the bench, and Hovich is injured. He's got a cold, bit of a flu. I empathise at the moment because my wife's had a really nasty cough about the last week. Not COVID, fortunately. Done lots of tests every day, not COVID. Just this super cold, super bug that's sort of doing the rounds. Obviously, our immune systems have taken a bit of a battering for the last 18 months of having not really had much contact with people. But she's had that. It's not really going away, and I feel like I'm picking it up now as well. Didn't go for my run yesterday. Unlikely to go today. We've got a builder in today as well, which probably makes it a bit trickier. Just trying to sort out our bathroom. So yeah, probably I didn't run at the weekend either, so it's going to be 4 days off. It's really not good. I haven't been off this long for a couple of months now. So hopefully it doesn't hurt me times and hurt me weight loss and my fitness stuff too much as we go 2-0 up against Sheffield United. I think that was Mulrine with the goal, so the attacking midfielder's definitely chipping away now, contributing, helping take the load off Eric Nevland. I think since we brought Mulrine in, actually since Titov maybe even left, I think it's been a bit of a switch and a flick in the team has made it all a bit more of a rounded performance. I think since we brought Bakero into midfield as well, we took Lachlan out. Lachlan started the season, but he's still a bit young. Tomlinson makes it 3-0. All three of the attacking line, midfielder line. And I think that's David James in goal. I think I mentioned that in a previous video. We had the opportunity, if I'd known, to sign him on a free. We didn't take it, but whether he'd come to us or not. But I mean, if he'd gone to Sheffield United, surely he'd gone to Fulham. Purely just for the money, but reputation-wise, maybe not. Sheffield United obviously have been a Premier League team a couple of years ago before this in real life. Fulham hadn't been. Obviously, would get there before Sheffield United would get back there. I think a long time before Sheffield United got back. I think there was one stint in the early to mid noughties. I think it was Warnock in charge about 2008ish, maybe before, maybe after. I can't really remember. It wasn't David James. It was Owen James. Not even the right James. Justin Walker, I think he's quite a good player on 0102. If it's who I think it is, centre midfielder. Dean Saunders obviously in there as well. But David Holdsworth, he's a good defender to pick up on a bargain as well. And they've got that Delas, haven't they? The Greek guy who won the Euros in 2004. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, he's doing okay. So we're going to come back for the next game, which is Manchester City. See you in a moment. Just very quickly, before we pop over to the Man City game, we've actually just got Manager of the Month. And I didn't even realise we got Manager of the Month before that as well. So we've got 2 Manager of the Months so far. So that's some nice points coming in. Anything else on there? Nope. we'll be back for the next game as planned. Okay, so we're back and it's the Man City game. So in between, the Charlton job was available. Obviously wasn't worth us taking because they're actually in Division 2 now. But Trevor Francis has taken that job. Monaco got battered in the Champions League, it looked like. So that hopefully that job might be one that comes up. Although saying that, I've done a big long save with Monaco sort of in the last couple of months. So I'm not sure I'd actually even take that job. But as much as it would fit the narrative of this save, I don't know if it would interest me too much because I've already done it. But we've got a bit of an issue. So Sigurdsson, I say issue, he's not too much of an issue because he's not really playing. But we've got that as an issue. But Laurent has also requested a transfer because he wants regular first team football. He hasn't played this season. He did have a few injuries. But obviously we brought in Lachlan and Bakero is still, well, he's playing out of his skin in all honesty. So why would we bout him? Plus I don't think he'll get anyone to warn him anyway. But I don't think there's any changes in the team. As 2 minutes in, we take the lead. I think it's that man, Eric Nevland. It is. And Golden Boot for this season is looking good for old Eric. If he can keep it going. Hovich with the free kick, but it doesn't come or anything. I need to put him on the free kicks and corners, actually. I think Heidenstrom's on them still. I keep meaning to change it. There's not much in it, but I just think with Hovich being a more offensive player, it doesn't... quick fire double from Uwe Rosler. Turns the game on its head. Oh, it's Russell. I saw the R. I just assumed it was 2 Rosler goals. Oh, ridiculous. Can we get back in the game, please, before half time? But I can't remember what I was saying. Yeah, Hovich. Oh, every time I talk about Hovich going into free kicks, they score a goal. Neil Heaney, I think that is. He used to play for Southampton. But we're going to see a loss. Oh my god, not a loss. We're actually getting thumped. Georgie Kinkladze, a mid-table team, absolutely thumping us. And this doesn't bode well for the cup game, although that is at home. So hopefully we can do something in the home reverse. I mean, we've got to change something here. What do I change? I mean, part of me wants to bring another striker on. Oh my god, well there goes that bringing a striker on. There goes that idea. Although we might do still. Mulrine for Conroy. So we're going to do that. And I think Hovich is going to come off for Tomlinson. He's going to go in just behind. We're going to see if we can... I don't know. That red card's going to change everything now. I was about to make a change and just sort of go for it a bit more. But we kind of have anyway. But we've got one less man sort of to go for it with. So we've got to be a bit more careful at the back. Because this 4-1 could easily turn a little bit embarrassing. And it looks like it's going to be. I think they're going to be scoring before we do. Can we maybe even just grab a consolation or even just hold it at 4-1? I'd probably take that right now. Anything more than 4 would just be... Let's not get this wrong either. The 4-1 was way before the red card. We've actually defended better with 10 men than we did with 11 men as they don't score. But that's the end of the match. Wow. Absolutely brought back down to earth with a bang in that game. Christopher Laurent may be getting a game, although I suspect it may be Lachlan going in, obviously when Bakero suspended. Not a good performance at all. Not at all. We took an early lead and it looked to be more of the same, more of the usual, but disappointing. So while this is loading, before we look at what we're going to come back to, if you have enjoyed today's episode, please do drop a sub on the channel. As I mentioned at the start, drop a like on the video, all that good stuff. Really helps me, really helps the channel. Keeps me going. I mean, I'm going to keep going anyway regardless, so you're stuck with me anyway. But poor result, obviously. PSG losing. I mean, seeing some of these big teams getting the shocking results, that's fine by me. So next time, we're going to be coming back for... I'm probably going to do similar as last time. Aim for the Christmas kind of Christmas New Year fixtures around here, sort of like Huddersfield, Bradford, Crewe. I mean, there's a big gap in some of those. They're actually just weekly games at that point. So yeah, somewhere around there. I think we haven't played any of them in so far, have we? I don't think. It was maybe Bradford on the first episode. Bradford might have been. So we'll go for a bit of revenge after that 3-3 draw. So we'll go for that. League table wise, how does that leave things standing? We are 1 point clear of Wimbledon and 5 clear of Everton, who obviously came down with Wimbledon. So that's good. Crystal Palace, the other team to go down, aren't doing great. I think that sort of wraps it up really. So Until next time for episode 10, where we're hitting coming thick and fast. Can't believe I've done 10 episodes. When we'll be facing those Christmas fixtures in Division 1, you know, get into the real nitty gritty of this season and see where we are. Who knows what might have changed in between now and then? Where have I taken a job? Let me know in the description below. What league would you prefer me to see? In the comments rather, not description. Let me know. Would you prefer me to go to Spain or France or Premier League? Any teams that would be ideal. Obviously I can't influence it, but you know, let me know. And until next time, I'll see you later. Take care.